Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Grieving teens are turning their heartache into action. I'm in Adoba with the details on what the couple who took in the suspected shooter are saying and how students from his Florida high school are pushing lawmakers for gun control laws.
And Montana law enforcement officials say everyone needs to be aware in order to stay safe in public places. Some tips from the Montana Highway Patrol coming up.
Meantime, 6:31 on this Tuesday, some tips from meteorologist Matt Elwell. It is really cold out there, and it's not something to be messing around with. Bare skin, pets.
Not at all.
That kind of stuff.
This is among the coldest stretches that we'll see throughout the year, including earlier in the year. And this one's a brutal one.
Yeah.
Temperatures well below zero across most of the area. 35 below this morning in West Yellowstone, 25 below in Butte, 12 below in Belgrade. Most areas dealing with slight wind chill. 24 below is what it feels like in Belgrade right now. It is difficult to be outside, so don't if you can help it. Of course, as Chet alluded to, bring your pets inside. Make sure that they have a nice warm spot in this extreme cold. Temperatures today only expected to make it single digits at best, despite the fact that we have a lot of sunshine on tap. This cold air continues. We'll talk about when it starts to quote unquote warm up. Detailed forecast, of course, coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, look for that optimistic forecast. Meantime, 6:32, our top story this morning, a backcountry skier had to be rescued Monday from Big Sky Ski Resort. Call came in about 2:15 yesterday afternoon. Officials say the man had an injury to his head. He was with a group of skiers in the Beehive Basin area. Was taken by helicopter to Big Sky Medical Center. No word yet on his condition or his identification.
And the family that was housing suspected Florida shooter Nikolas Cruz say that they took the teen in because it was the right thing to do after his mother died.
They're also defending their decision to allow him to keep around a half a dozen guns. CBS's Hannah Doba has the latest this morning from New York.
As accused Florida high school shooter, 19-year-old Nikolas Cruz appeared in front of a judge yesterday for a second time. The family that had been housing him was speaking out. James and Kimberly Sneed insist Cruz showed no warning signs that he was about to do harm to himself or others.
He had a positive path going. He was going to school, he had a job. He told us 2 weeks ago he's the happiest he's ever been.
The family says when Cruz moved into their home with around half a dozen guns, their only stipulation that he keep them locked in a gun safe.
I have guns, I respect guns. As long as they're handled properly. It's his right to own a gun.
Cruz owned the guns legally. A Florida judge yesterday, though, authorized the release of his records, which indicate he had multiple mental health concerns, including severe depression and ADHD. At vigils and protests across the country, many are calling for tighter regulations to prevent those with mental health issues from buying a gun.
It comes down to children in classrooms who are being shot.
At this lie-in outside the White House, dozens of high schoolers from Teens for Gun Reform posed as corpses. Students from Parkland plan to rally at the state capitol this week.
We feel like the politicians on both sides, but mostly the GOP, who are accepting money from the NRA, are betting on our lives, and they're betting against us.
The White House says President Trump will host a listening session tomorrow with both students and teachers. Hannah Doba, CBS News.
Now we're told it's still unclear which students and teachers will be at that meeting. The White House says President Trump is open to the possibility of supporting bipartisan legislation to strengthen the federal background check system for buying a gun. You can hear more on the couple who took the suspected shooter into their home coming up later at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
And it's a sad fact in life in America that mass shootings are becoming all too common. So much so that law enforcement officers now have to teach classes on how to deal with an armed intruder. Montana Highway Patrol Sergeant Jay Nelson is one of those instructors, and he reviews some basic lessons on how to stay safe.
Run, lock, and fight.
When it comes to surviving an active shooter attack, we need to think the unthinkable.
First and foremost is your individual mindset. We have to live our lives a little bit different. We have to recognize when we go into a facility, where are the exits? We have to recognize that what could we use as a weapon?
Nelson says the first thing he teaches when it comes to such incidents, see something, say something.
If it doesn't seem right, tell someone. Somebody that's posting things, somebody that's saying things, somebody that's not acting appropriate.
If you do encounter an attacker, see if you can safely get away from the threat.
If we have an opportunity to run and we know that it's safe, we need to keep running as far as we can, and obviously try to run in a location to where you have something between, be it the shooter or be it the intruder.
If running isn't an option, find a way to shelter in place.
Does your door swing in? Does it swing out? How can we enhance the locking mechanism of that door if it has a lock? Barricading the door, wrapping cords around the door, anything to prevent that door from opening if you can't run.
And as a last resort, you can try to attack the attacker.
Look for improvised weapons. For instance, fire extinguishers, an excellent one. Anything that you can use to take that person out. We might not want to do harm to somebody, that might be in our nature, but it comes down to being a statistic or a survivor.
Nelson says surviving this type of threat involves not living in fear, but finding a way to empower yourself.
Truly, are you going to do something should that intruder come through the door?
Dennis Carlson, MTN News, Helena.
Now, we have posted several resources on the subject on our websites, KBZK and KXLF.com.
In other headlines this morning, Madison County authorities continue to investigate a shooting incident at the Sportsman's Lodge in Ennis. Sheriff's deputies responded to the lodge just before 1 yesterday afternoon. They discovered 48-year-old male from Ennis had been shot. He was taken to Bozeman Health Deaconess Hospital. The other male, 57-year-old from McAllister, was detained and treated for multiple injuries, including a possible head injury. That person is in a hospital in Billings. Authorities say they are still trying to determine a motive for that shooting.
And a woman in Butte faces a felony assault charge after she stabbed a security guard at a local hospital. 50-year-old Linda Berger became erratic while being treated at St. James Healthcare on Sunday night. When she grabbed a pair of scissors from the counter of the hospital, a security guard restrained her from behind. Berger stabbed him in the arm with the scissors before she was subdued by staff. The guard was treated for non-life-threatening wounds, and Berger remains jailed.
Well, financial experts say Gibson, the parent company of Gibson Guitars, is having money problems and is running out of time. The company has hundreds of millions of dollars in bank loans coming due this summer. Gibson is based in Nashville, Tennessee, and has an acoustic guitar factory in Bozeman. Company CEO says Gibson has been taking steps to strengthen its financial situation, like working with new creditors and selling off properties in Memphis and in Nashville.
And the Gallatin Valley Land Trust hopes to convince the Gallatin County Commissioners to put a bond on the June ballot in support of preserving local parks and trails. Along with the community leaders, the Land Trust will present a letter to the Commission at 9 this morning. We'll keep you posted on what the Commission decides for that certain decision. Stay with us. Coming up next, it is your weekly Montana Made product, and we take you to Butte Uptown business with links to China.
But first, here's Nora O'Donnell with a look at what's coming up at 7 on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead here on CBS This Morning, the case of a man who seemingly came back to life after being pronounced dead. How his widow is suing the doctor and the hospital. And Jamie Yuccas is inside a secure lab with how more than $50 million in gold was recovered from a shipwreck off the U.S. coast. We'll see you right at 7.